What's up, fellas? My name is Andy, and I hope everyone's having a good day. So we've all heard many great stories about players like Serge Ibaka or Giannis Antetokounmpo overcoming ridiculous odds to get where they are today. Ibaka grew up during a Congo war along with 17 other siblings, but he was able to escape this situation and eventually make it to the NBA and become a millionaire. Giannis also had a rough childhood, spending most of his time working as a street vendor and barely making ends meet before getting into the NBA. Unfortunately, these kind of success stories represent a very small percentage of athletes. The vast majority of them do not make it to the NBA, and sometimes players end up traveling to some shady places to play basketball, just to make a salary. But they need money and have no other choice but to go. This brings us to the story of Nigerian basketball player Alex Owumi. Alex was born on May 4th, 1984 and had a pretty normal life growing up. He grew up in Nigeria with a stable family environment and loved playing basketball, mainly because of watching fellow Nigerian player Hakeem Olajuwon in the NBA. Eventually, Alex's family moved to England and then the United States, so he can have more opportunities to play sports on a bigger stage. He ended up in Boston and found a lot of success, winning the Boston Globe Scholar Athlete Award and being a part of an AAU team in the area. In 2003, Alex got a scholarship to play college football at Georgetown, but after a year of this, he realized that football wasn't his thing and wanted to transfer to another school so he can focus on basketball. He left Georgetown and ended up bouncing around to a bunch of community colleges on the East Coast for a few years. Unfortunately, by the time he was ready for the NBA draft, he was already 24 years old and was not considered a good prospect. As a result, nobody drafted him in the 2008 draft. Alex was forced to find other opportunities to play basketball, and by 2010, his life took a steep turn for the worse. In 2010, Alex's agent was contacted by another agent who was looking to recruit African players to play basketball in Libya. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know, but during that time, Libya was ruled by Gaddafi and his family, and the country did not have a good relationship with the United States. Throughout the years, they've had several conflicts, including the Gulf of Sidra incidents and multiple bombings. Alright, so back to Alex. He signed a big contract with a team called Al Nassr, located in Benghazi, Libya. It was a team in the top basketball league in Libya, and it was owned by the Gaddafi family. And right when he arrived in Libya, he received a ton of support and recognition because he was personally acknowledged by Gaddafi. He pretty much got everything for free because of his status. Free food from the markets and restaurants, free clothes, free TV and laptop. He never had to pay for anything. And on top of that, his team was winning every game they played. This was basically a dream for him. When talking about his early success in Libya, Alex said that, "I just wanted to play basketball. The most important thing was to get out of the bad situation I was in. And once I had that opportunity to get someplace better to play basketball, that's all I really cared about." But shortly after, Alex found himself in an even worse situation. On the morning of February 17, 2011, he sees about 300 protesters outside of a police station across his street. Alex said, "It was really calm, a nice place. Then it went from 0 to 127 overnight. I put my head down and woke up to chaos. All of a sudden, he hears gunshots being fired and people dropping dead left and right." Alex is now in panic mode and desperately tries to call someone, but the phone network was down, and the internet too. The kids he saw earlier who were just playing soccer on the streets were now apparently armed with shotguns and machetes. Then he hears someone knocking on his door. They were two soldiers, and they asked him if he was American or Libyan. Alex showed them his American passport and they left him alone. Now he realized what was going on. Libya was in the early stages of a civil war, with the protesters hoping to overthrow the current government ruled by Gaddafi. And Alex's apartment was apparently in the middle of a war zone. He ended up locking himself in his own apartment for almost 2 weeks, afraid to go outside because he'd probably get shot. But as the days passed, Alex was running out of food, so he started eating cockroaches and worms that he found in the flower pots of his house. He was about to die and kept praying every day for someone or something to save him. When he was looking out of the window, he recalled one of the most shocking things he ever saw. A little girl was trying to drag her father back to their home. The father had blood leaking from his head and his eyes were popped out of his face. That must have been incredibly scary and heartbreaking to look at. And after 2 weeks of being stuck in his apartment, The phone lines went back up and he got a call from his teammate, Mustafa. He told Alex that the team president would help them escape to Egypt. The problem was, this would include a very dangerous 6-hour drive to the Egyptian border. With no other choice, Alex and Mustafa cooperated and went with it. The estimated 6-hour trip was actually 12 hours because they had to stop at so many checkpoints along the way. And at certain checkpoints, they thought they would get killed. But luckily, they successfully escaped to Egypt and stayed at a refugee camp for a few days. Alex decided to remain in Egypt for a while to recover from this experience before going back to the States. Even though his family really wanted him to hurry back, it's understandable for him to stay for a bit. He was a mess and went through some crazy stuff, so he needed some time to regain his composure. Alex's former coach from that team in Libya was actually living in Alexandria, Egypt. So they met up together and Alex played basketball for his local team, just for therapy so he can feel better. When asked about why he stayed in Egypt to play, he stated that it wasn't about the money, he just wanted to be normal again. After a few months, Alex returned to the States to see his family, but he was still mentally out of it. He got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and occasionally had anxiety attacks waking up in the morning. Fortunately, after about a year, Alex was back on the basketball court, and as of today, he's currently playing in the British Basketball League. He also wrote a memoir of his experience in Libya, so if you guys were interested in this story, he goes into a lot more detail in the book. Thanks for watching, everyone. We always hear about NBA success stories, but never about the other end of the spectrum. I just wanted to give you guys a look at one of the worst stories of a basketball player trying to play overseas. I know this video wasn't about the NBA, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. I'll be making more videos like this in the future. See you next time.